Well, thanks for coming and joining me in my shop here while I continue working on this Rogers Majestic console stereo. And where we're at right now is, last thing I was doing was testing these tubes. And if you watched the videos, you know I kind of blew up my tube tester. Well, as it turns out, neither the tube tester nor the tube suffered from what was a pretty serious mistake I made while tube testing. I ended up applying the B plus voltage across the heater. Whew, that's pretty exciting. So if you haven't seen that video, you're skipping over them. You want to go back and try to find that moment where I put who knows how many volts onto the heater of a tube. Tube's still good. Tube tester still good. So that's all good news. Now we have another little more good news. I have this image here. Now this flash you see, that looks like a light reflecting off my screen, that's actually the photograph. Isn't that something, eh? You'd swear there's a light coming off there right now. But there isn't. In the photograph, there's a hot spot on the image. But what's in here, if you can see past that, maybe you can't. A little hard for you to see. But anyway, this is the back panel of the console. And on here is a tube chart. And the tube chart, maybe now you can see it better, tells me what tubes these should be. A 6AJ8, that's correct. 6BA6, that's correct. 6AM6, that's correct. And a 6AL5, correct. So the last one is this FM tube here. I'm going to pull it out. Take a look at what it is. There's a poor man's tube shield if I've ever seen one. Yeah, I did a quick little video on tube shields, but in the end it didn't look very interesting, so I haven't posted it. But if somebody wants to see a small collection of tube shields, I have a 5-minute video on it. Yeah, I see this tube is not labeled. That's where I got stuck. Oh, wait a minute. Well, it can't be. Looks like 1U2 down there, but it can't be. 1U2. Let's see what it actually is. It's supposed to be ECC85, which is a European name for a 6AQ8. So this should be a 6AQ8. So guess what we're going to do? We're going to get out my tube tester. Oh no! No, don't do it. Yeah, we're going to test it. With my freshly calibrated tube tester. Six AQ8, not a 6AQ5. 6AQ8. Is it in here? Let's see. 6AQ. Uh-oh. Not listed. 6AQ7 is here, but not 6AQ8. What do I do with the tube? Yeah. Hey, 6AQ7. Why don't I just set it up for that and put it? Because we'll blow up my tester again. 6A. Son of a gun, it's not in here. Well, let's look at the other tube tester. 6AQ8. Now, I don't like to roll the roll chart on my other tester, so we're going to have to fish a chart up on this here. And we're looking for Stark roll chart. 6AQ8. Here we come. 6C, 6B, 6A, Q, 6A, TUV, MNOP, QRS. Next page back. You got to know the alphabet to do this stuff, you know. 6AQ8. No, 6AR8. Whoop, come back. 6A, there it is, 6AQ8. Yeah, it's a dual tube. So we're going to have to do it on my older tester. Put this guy away. Funny that it doesn't have this tube in it, but my older tester does. Now there's probably more supplementary lists for this tester, and if I went looking I could probably find it. I'll have to use the old guy. The old guy here. So let me see if I can get my camera re-aimed for the other tester. Okay, so let's set this tester up now, and 6AQ5. The tablet's doing something funny here, but that's okay. 6AQ8. 6AQ8. I'm about to make the same mistake there, wasn't I? 6AQ8. 8. Okay, so 6AQ8. 6.3. 6.3, that's right. EV. 6AQ8. I'm not making any mistakes here. EV. So we're gonna EV 7608 with a 0. 7608 with a 0. There we are. 34 and 67. So 34 and 67 on the English. See how the meter has a good and bad, or replace good? When you set the English, then you can just read the English up here. That's kind of the concept. Then you have a meter setting here. It's set to English. If you want to take actual readings of the mutual conductance or something, you select these scales. Otherwise, English is where we're going. Now, not to make a mistake here, 6AQ, 11 and 85. Excuse me. Something happened there, didn't it? 6AQ8, 11 and 85. I got the set wrong. 11 and 85. See, it's just that easy. I'm looking at the chart. I just started looking at the line below. The line I should be looking at. Before. So I've set that up for a 6AQ8. And the 6AQ8, just going to double check here. And I'm absolutely convinced myself it's a 6AQ8. Yes, it is. Okay, so this particular tester has a fuse light in it here. And I think if I made the same mistake with this tester, this light would glow, the tube wouldn't. That's what I think. Now, how accurate that is, I'm not exactly sure. There we go. Now, in the radio, just to remind everybody, the radio started working after I replaced two tubes, one 6BA6 in the IF strip and a 6AL5, which is the detector tube. those were both low in the tube tester, and the result was the AM side started working. The FM side did not work, but I couldn't test the FM tuner tube, the one that's in the tester right now, because I didn't know what it was. The tube is clean, you can't read anything on it. So, and I didn't have any information, but now I do, so I know it's a 6AQ8. Okay, watching the short light. Now, you see the flashes. They don't mean anything. In fact, if a tube doesn't flash, it usually means it didn't heat up and there's nothing happening in it. So that's fine. If there was a short, the light would stay on. Here we go. Let's see how low it is, eh? Okay, test very low on here. That's a little curious, isn't it? Let's just check the line here. The line's a touch low, but that's not gonna make any difference on that. So it's in the replace zone. There's two excuse me, two settings. So let's do the other setting. There's two parts to this tube. 6AQ8. So we'll do the other setting now. EV21030. 21030. Now you see I'm changing these settings while the tube is sitting in there. This tester applies no voltages to the tube until you push one of these test buttons. It appears as if the other tester is not the same, because as I was flipping dials on that one with the tube in, I saw the meter jump around. Gave me pause to reflect. 68371. 68371. 6AQ8. What did I just set up? I set up the wrong one again. Okay, 6AQ8 is 2103 with a 0. Holy smokes. 2103 with a 0. Didn't I set that? And then I went and unset it? I'm all confused here. No wonder I make mistakes. Too much going on in my head. Maybe not enough head for what's going on in there. Maybe that's really the problem. 21030. 1185. Those should remain the same. 1185. Press P4. Always check for shorts. No shorts. P4. The same reading. My life test switch is not working. So what we do is we just turn the voltage down, the heater voltage down one notch, and watch the reading. And we'll go up one notch. Let's see what's up. Hey, I wonder if I should put 120 volts on the heater of this tube, because the tube I did that to tested really good afterwards. Now, maybe it was going to test really good before. And I haven't heard about this heat up the filament. I think I've seen double the voltage for an hour or something like that, and let it cook for a while. Yeah, I think, you know, you might buy some life in a tube, perhaps, by you know, this kind of thing cleans off the cathode surface, apparently, supposedly, and restores the tube's ability to emit electrons. I don't know if that's a long-term fix or that's going to be a real short-term thing, that you heat it up, clean it off, and then afterwards it's shot again just after a few hours of operation. I don't really know, but I think we should find another tube. 6AQ8. Well, it's going to take me a little while digging through a lot of tubes to find one of these, but I think I'm going to go hunt one down. Well, surprisingly enough, it took me only a few seconds to find another 6AQ8. Happened to be right on my desk in my office. where I'm surrounded by a few thousand vacuum tubes that I'm sorting. And this just happened to be sitting right on my desk with about a dozen tubes. So lucky break. Let's stick it in there. And there's no question it's a 6AQ8. I can read it on there just fine. So we'll let that warm up. You know, the FM section on that radio may not have been working because right off the bat I noticed one of the tuning slugs is not in the right position. So could be if I just correct that, the receiver may start working on FM. But let's see about the tube. The tube is definitely measuring low. Let's see what another one does here. There's the flash. P4. Yeah, it's, you know, that reads much better. Even though it's in the question mark zone on my meter, that's a lot better. So I think that's going to read, that's going to do the trick. So let's see if I can work my camera. Here, coming down, coming down. So the tube's got to go in here. Yeah, let's put the bad one back in now. These covers, look at that. Look at the kind of strain it's going to put on the tube. This will rub off everything that's on the tube. So I'm going to loosen it a bit if I can. I certainly don't want it to be that tight. There's no reason for it to be that tight. It's only got to be tight enough to stay on. There we go. See, I'm sliding it where it's not knocking the numbers off. Plus, this has to be set down far enough that it's engaging these contacts to ground that shield. If you don't ground the shield, you might actually end up with a worse scenario than not having it at all. But as I was saying previously, if a radio is designed for the tubes to be shielded, then you better have shields on them. And if the radio is designed without shields, then you're probably wasting your time putting some on. The shield is not helping getting the tube in place. There we go. Tube's in, shield's on. Okay, we're ready to test this radio again. Let me just get it hooked up and ready to go. Okay, so we have the speakers and an antenna connected. And now it's time to give them a shot. Let's see what happens here. So there's the speakers here. Various connections I made. So we need to plug them in here. Volume and the tone controls. Volume is down. Okay, we're going to put it on current restriction, of course, first. There it goes. Seems to me the where's the pilot light? Oh, here it is, way back here. Let's get that out front here. Okay, and the plate currents are starting. Doesn't seem to be any problem. I'm going to give her full line voltage, which is 125. It's, I don't know where it's set. I think it's set to phono right now. Let's turn it up. Okay, audio section seems to be working. Set that one set. Another snap. Oh, what's that? Okay, I think that was AM. You got no control on the volume here, so I'm not sure what's going on with the volume, but it seems to me it doesn't go all the way down. It just goes up from halfway, as you could hear. This is FM. Look at the same chuffing. Isn't that strange? Okay, but strange or not, the good news is we are getting output now on FM. So changing that tube seems to have had an effect. We're going to have to correct that slug problem and get the slug in the right position. That may clear up this funny chuffing, which may be due to some weird feedback resonance thing going on in the radio right now. I'm not sure. But anyway, looks like we did a good thing by changing that tube. So, and lo and behold, it's lunchtime here. So I'm going to stop at this point. Next video will deal with the mechanical problem in the tuning section and see if that doesn't restore the whole radio at that point. That'd be a great thing. So that's three tubes we changed in this set. It's very unusual to find that many bad tubes. So interesting. So that's it. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.